Morning, folks. Moses Woodson here from my High Desert Homestead, and today we're going to be talking about installing your gates the right way. Installing your gate all starts with your gate post. Having it installed correctly and stout enough that it will support your gate over a long period of time is the key. We recommend at least a 30-inch to 36-inch depth on your gate post, and then your bracing needs to be the same. You need to be in the ground sufficient enough to support the type of gate that you are hanging on your gate post. Today we're using a timeless fence post. This is going to work for your wood post, steel post, whatever you're hanging your gate from. It's going to work the same, but we're going to take and we're going to cover in depth how we hang a gate, and I guarantee that you're going to like it. So what we've done here, not only do we have our bracing into the ground, this is a full 7-foot brace. We have it in the ground full depth. I've also taken a piece of rebar. It was about 18 inches long and drove it into the ground. This is real rocky ground, as you can see. We put a little bit of rock in the bottom so that this brace has something to push against. When your gate is hanging on your post and you swing it, it has a lot of movement that transfers into your posts, into the ground. We want this to be as stout as possible. Not only do we not want it to pull, we don't want it to push either. We don't want any movement. And now we're going to put concrete on top of this to make sure that it's got a sufficient amount of weight and it's locked in. We've done the same thing over here on this side. Of course, you can see it's finished. I've seen a lot of people hang gates. They hang them on single posts. Their bracing's not in the ground that far. If you don't get the correct depth, if you don't get at least 30 inches in the ground and concrete that post in, take some extra steps. If you've got loose ground, put rebar in, that sort of thing. Eventually your gate is going to be on the ground and your bracing is going to be stretched out of place. The extra bracing on these posts, having a double brace on it, is really important when your fence line does not line up with your gate, or you're going to be placing a heavy gate on your gate post. So we've already got this gate post here all set up, ready to hang a gate on. We're going to walk you through the process on how we installed our gate pins. When you buy your gate, they're going to come with a auger or a lag type gate pin. These are okay, but you can't make the adjustments you really need to get your gate level. When you turn it, in order to get it tighter, you have to go all the way around. You can't make a small adjustment. It's a big adjustment when you adjust it. I've used them, I put them in, I've got some on our Homestead, but I don't like them. The best thing you can do with these is throw them away and get you a bolt through gate pin. This way you can make minor adjustments. Start out by having the nut adjusted all the way down to the end, and then you can adjust for your post. They make these in 12-inch. I believe this is an 8-inch, so they make them for bigger size posts. And over the years you can continue to tighten and loosen this and adjust your gate. Whereas with this, once the hole is stripped out, it's stripped out. I don't know how many times I've seen these used in wood post and they were sliding in and out of the wood post because the post had dried out or rotted out around it, and there's nothing you can do besides drill another hole and move your hinge. With this, you can continue to tighten and loosen your gate pin, and it's going to last you a lot longer. When you're using timeless, you have to use these because an auger has nothing to auger into. It's going all the way through the post. Okay folks, let's talk about gates here for just a second. We are putting in a double gate, putting in two 8-foots. We have a 16-foot opening. And not all gates are created equal. You have heavy duty gates, you have lightweight gates. For your needs, you know, if you're keeping in small livestock, you might need a panel like this. This is a panel gate. These are 2x4 squares. This is great for sheep, goats, dogs, pigs. So it really depends upon what you're trying to keep in or out, as to what your needs are when buying gates. You're going to find some differences in gates. These gates here have adjustable gate hinges. As you can see, you can put those pretty much anywhere you want to on that gate. Other gates are going to have a fixed gate hinge at the bottom and an adjustable one at the top. I particularly like that kind because it gives you a fixed point. These here can move, shift on you, and the whole thing is just not as stable as one that it has a fixed bottom gate hinge. So figure out what you're trying to keep in, what you're trying to keep out, what your needs are. You know, if you have horses, if you have livestock such as cattle, horses, you might need a little bit heavier gates. So when you go to you know, your local farm store, co-op, wherever you're going, make sure to keep that in mind and ask about the gates, because to be honest with you, most people working in them stores don't have a clue. You need to do your research on what kind of gates you need. Big heavy duty gates, I mean, they make what's called a bull gate, which is made out of some really heavy gauge metal, and you're going to need a stouter gate post to install that. These are fairly a light gate. It's just an entryway gate to deter people from pulling in here and coming on the property. It will be keeping cattle out because there's free range cattle, but they're not going to be using it as a huge entry and exit way like you would on a ranch or a farm. Okay folks, we're going to walk you through getting the height of your gate. All ground is different, so you've got to really take that into consideration. You want to make sure that you have enough swing. We're in an area here where it's fairly level, but if you've got a really high rise or a change in elevation, you want to take that into account. You might have to do some landscaping, but for fairly flat ground, it helps if you have two people. My wife's on that end of the gate. It helps if you have a torpedo level with a magnet that you can put in front of your helper. That way they can take and read it. The way we determined this height was I picked up this end of the gate, and then she held the other end of the gate until it was level. We seen that we had plenty of clearance with our ground, and then I just marked my post. When you mark the bottom of your hinge on your post, and then that's where you're going to want to drill at. Your bottom pin should be pointing upwards. Your top pin should point downwards. That's going to take and prevent anybody from just coming through and picking the gate up and taking it off the hinges. They would have to do a little bit more work. Also, cattle, horses bumping into a gate, they can pick it up and knock it right off the hinges. If this gate pin is turned upwards, it'll just slide right off. Okay folks, the next part of your gate installation is pretty critical if you're using wood. We're using timeless here, and we have a plumb line already dictated for us by the post. We drill through the holes that's already provided and add a piece of square tube on each side, and our gate pin goes through that. That's a plumb line. If you're using a wood post, you're going to want to make sure that your gate pin goes through the meat of the post or the center of the post, and where you've marked your gate pin line, you want to put a level on there and mark a plumb line up your post. To determine where your top gate pin goes, you're going to want to find your height on that plumb line that you've already drawn on your post. That's going to get your gate started on a very straight, very plumb, very square start, and then you can make adjustments after that. Most of the time when we hang a gate, we will install our bottom gate pin first loosely and then hang our gate. That way I can adjust our top gate hinge to where I think it needs to be on the post. And again, you're going to want to leave yourself enough room to adjust your gate hinge up and down. And in the finished position, that's going to be the finished position. So then I would again mark the top of my gate hinge, and that's where I'm going to drill through for my top gate pin. So now that we know the height of our gate hinge, I want to make sure it's tight. You want to tighten your gate hinge down until it crimps your pipe just a little bit, flattening it out so that it doesn't turn on you after you do the install. Now we're going to hang our gate on our gate pin, and these gate pins are still loose. We're going to take and we're going to adjust them later. We have our 4-foot level, and we want to adjust our gate until it's level. Check level again. Now our gate's hung. Now that we have our gate on our bolt through pins, we can take and adjust for level. Right here it says that the end of our gate needs to come up. So I'm going to tighten down the top and get it snug. And then I'm going to adjust this bolt out. And I'm going to tighten this nut up, and it will push the end of the gate up.
There you go.
So now we've adjusted our gate until it's level. These bolt through gate pins allow us to adjust, make small minor adjustments with ease, because we can tighten and loosen, raise and lower our gate. So to talk about this a little bit more in depth, if you tighten this bolt and loosen this bolt, it will bring your gate down. Sometimes you need to raise or lower. You can see here we have a little bit more bolt here than we do here. That's because we needed to raise the gate up on the end. So adjusting these can adjust your level. If you start out with a good plumb line down your post, you level your gate when you attach the hinges. You can use these bolt through gate hinges to get your last adjustment and adjust your gate up or down. You may want it tighter. You may want to start off with it in one place here or here. Tighten this all the way up depending on how much gap you want. But this allows us to make those minute adjustments to get that gate to look just exactly right and swing the way we want. Commonly what happens with these adjustable gate hinges is after you've had them a while, the gate starts twisting on the inside of them. So what we do to counteract that is we run a self-tapping screw through the hinge and into the gate. Now you're going to want to pre-drill, even though they're self-tappers, you're going to want to pre-drill through the gate hinge and into the gate. These are a 5/16 self-tapper. They're long enough to go through both. Don't want to over tighten it, you will break it off. But that's going to keep that gate and that hinge connected so that they swing as one, and the weight of the gate and the wind doesn't loosen this up, because really there's nothing gripping this gate except for just a flat piece of metal, and as we all know, two pieces of metal will eventually cause enough friction to get loose. So I'm going to repeat the process on the bottom one, and this gate is hung. Okay, friends and neighbors, if this was a single gate, we'd be done. Gate's hung, it's level, it's tight, everything's secured. But we're gonna put another gate on this side. We're gonna transfer our gate pin measurements from this side to this side because we have adjustable gate hinges, and we can adjust the gate up and down with them and get it level. Now, if you're doing this on wood posts, the best way to do it is with a string. Then once you get your gate at the height you need it, then you can mark your wood posts again, as I showed you over here earlier. But if you're just hanging one gate, that's pretty much it. And you'll have a level gate, you'll have a strong gate, you'll have a gate that will swing, and it'll look nice coming in and out of your property or in and out of your farm. We have our dual gates up here. Now what we did, like I said before, is we transferred our measurements from this side to this side, and then because we have adjustable gate hinges, we have just adjusted our gate so that they meet in the middle. And you can tell that this side is higher up the hill because the post's a little taller. The gates run level across, and then it's a little bit taller than this side because we're running downhill. Now, if you're working with a wood post, what you can do is you can run a string from this side where your gate pin is to your post over here. And you can use a line level or even a torpedo level, holding it up to it, and get it fairly level across your gate opening when you're hanging double gates. If you have adjustable pins, you can take and do what we did here. Most gates just have a solid gate hinge on the bottom and an adjustable on the top. So your string strung across and then a level on it. They sell line levels at most of the big box stores. You just snap it on the string, pull it tight, and then that'll tell you whether you need to move up or down on your wood post. And that's where you want to drill your bottom pin on a gate that doesn't have an adjustable gate hinge. Timeless makes it so much easier because you already have your plumb line. All you have to do is just transfer your lines across and you're good to go. So that's how you install a gate. That's how we install a gate anyway. You can adjust them back and forth. We've adjusted these several times to try and get them with the same reveal from the post and the same reveal down the center. They've got a good range of swing both directions. They're well supported with our timeless gate post. And it looks real nice. All right, guys, I hope this helps you out when you're hanging your gates, you're putting your gates in. I hope something I said helped you. Sometimes I get a little bit tongue-tied. Sometimes I leave out steps that I do, but it's pretty comprehensive. If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments below. I'll be glad to help you out any way I can in your fencing projects around your homestead, around your farm. So remember, pray hard, stay strong, ride on.